opioid epidemic is fueling America's drug addiction problem, and new data shows most U.S. adults are experiencing the fallout firsthand. 2/3 of Americans say they have been addicted or have a family member who's addicted to drugs or alcohol. 54% of those adults say alcohol is the problem. 24% say it's painkillers. 27% say illegal drugs are the issue. Well, one state is taking a sweeping approach to decriminalizing illegal drugs. Nearly 3 years ago, Oregon passed a reform bill called Measure 110. Instead of arresting drug users, authorities are handing out $100 tickets for small offenses. But recent headlines argue the measure is only making the epidemic in Portland worse. So, does this radical approach need more time to work? Or is it time to roll back Measure 110? News Nation correspondent Brooke Schaefer joins us now with more. Brooke.
Yeah, the law had a good amount of support when it passed back in 2020. People really rallied behind the proposal and the intention to get drug users help instead of sending them to prison. But tonight, some have described it as a disaster. Along the streets of Portland, you'll spot the city's homelessness crisis, up 65% from 2015. With it, there's deepening drug use, happening sometimes in open air. But police are unable to do much about it. Small amounts of drugs like cocaine, heroin, and meth are decriminalized in Oregon. Jail time swapped for a $100 fine.
We have become the tourist destination for drugs, and we're now feeling the ramifications of meth and fentanyl, and it's really affecting our city.
Lisa Schroeder is the executive chef and owner of Mother's Bistro and Bar in downtown Portland. She initially voted for the law passed in 2020, known as Measure 110. But with rising crime, overdoses, and vandalism forcing some Portland businesses out, Schroeder now says she's changed her mind.
I think myself, as well as many other people, never understood the repercussions and the implications of legalizing drugs without having a treatment plan or rehab facilities in place. And that's what happened. Because there was a whole supermarket of drugs and fentanyl right behind my restaurant in that parking lot.
Under Measure 110, people caught using small amounts of drugs, even heroin or meth, don't go to jail. Instead, they're given a $100 ticket, which can be waived by completing a health assessment, connecting them to treatments. Proponents of the measure, like the Health Justice Recovery Alliance, believe the newer law, quote, treats substance use as a public health issue and increases access to vital recovery services. Money saved from no longer prosecuting minor drug crimes instead goes to a drug treatment and recovery fund. But in the nearly 3 years since Measure 110 was passed, drug use is up, and critics say the money needed for addiction services hasn't been spent fast enough. Police in Portland earlier this year responded to 11 suspected overdose calls and 3 deaths in just a 12-hour period.
That's tremendously concerning and really tragic.
Tonight, some are calling on the state legislature to step in. Portland Commissioner of Public Safety, Renee Gonzalez.
From my vantage point, it's been a disaster. We took away ramifications for a lot of behavior, and the addiction services that were promised Oregon voters have been incredibly slow to get online. We've not done a good job of getting dollars to building addiction service beds. A lot of the dollars have gone to harm reduction efforts. So it's been really a unmitigated disaster.